I guess Joe decided to do his own lawn because his lawn was looking bad when he was trying to get his thing charged to do his neighbor's lawn. He doesn't do the fertilizer stuff. I guess hers was like super ridiculous on it. Probably don't have much time. Anyhow, to continue, fiasco that ended with the new vet not wanting us, with me getting a message from the medical director, an email, because I had the nerve to be upset, and our employees are working really hard, and with the pandemic, and yada yada yada, and you seem really upset. I don't think we're going to be a good fit. Oh my God. I cried myself to sleep that night because it's just so ridiculous. So ridiculous. I mean, beyond ridiculous, okay? I am in the dark here trying to, what's the word? Trying to make everything work out. There's a better word than that. Trying to facilitate. I'm trying to facilitate something that should be simple. Old vet sends new vet records. Shouldn't that be simple, people? I'm trying to facilitate this from thousands of miles apart, okay? And I did it in plenty of time, okay? Because I've been waiting weeks for his appointment, and now I have to start from scratch because they don't want us. So to continue where I left off, because I thought I could hear Joe being done, but I guess he decided to do his own. Okay. What do you mean you didn't send the records? I was getting upset. I told you to. I told them they were coming, but whatever. So I wound up talking to the manager at the old vet, and she said to me, yeah, it looks like they weren't sent, but you know what? I will print them out and send them today when I leave work. I'm like, honest? And she was like, yeah, it's no problem. So instead of doing that, she calls me back. Oh, well, I called over there and we emailed them to them. I'm thinking, 2 different employees at Old Vet, who I love, but come on, said, I never said it. I never thought you would do it. They would physically mail them out, so I would know they were mailed, and they got them, and everything was fine, right? But of course, I am the type that I don't accept the first thing I'm told ever. I don't think anybody should. I investigate, I think about things, and I don't accept the first answer I get, period. Especially if it doesn't make sense. But just, I don't. I like clarification. So when she said we emailed them to them, okay, and they got them, most people, that would have been the end of it. They would trust, okay, everything's fine, but not Laura, because I was told they would be mailed, and I want to make sure, okay? And it's a good thing that I did. Well, maybe it's a bad thing. I don't know. It's how you look at it. But it just was ridiculous. It taught me a lesson, though. The lesson is maybe Omar's new vet doesn't give a fuck about having his records, and only wants the most recent, like my dentist wanted the most recent. But then tell me, don't pretend, don't do it behind my back. I would have been none the wiser, and that makes me angry, okay? That makes me furious, okay? And what happened makes me furious because, again, this is my baby. He's due for his physical, and we have to start from scratch. I have to, So I call up. I wanted to know. Okay, so now we know they emailed them. I wasn't happy about that. I'm going to make sure, even though I'm not going to I need to hear it for myself, since Old Vet didn't do what 2 different employees said they were going to do, which was mail them out, which made me feel better because New Vet had never said you could email them. So I want to make sure, plus people are human, they make mistakes. So I call New Vet and say to them, so I just, and I explained, and then I said, so you got the records. Can you tell me how many pages there are? And she goes, 48. I said, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, if I had most people would have taken their word and everything, but in the end, if it didn't matter, then it was just whatever. 48, I said, because Omar's specialist had emailed me. Oh, and I also said to Old Vet, if you emailed this to New Vet, can you send me, a copy of what you emailed to them? Because this is what happened. New vet said to me, we have 48 pages. I said, they told me that Omar went there for 7 years and they said it would at least 65. You can't possibly have 48. I said, does that include the specialist PDF file, the email that I forwarded to you from his specialist? They're like, yeah. I'm thinking, what's going on? This is impossible. It can't just be 48 pages, especially if it includes the ones that I didn't open up, the ones that I got from his specialist. But I know that 48 pages was impossible for all those years when they told me it was going to be 65. And yes, I'm a detective. Yes, I'm anal. Yes, I'm whatever. I need to get to the bottom of this mystery and solve it. And in the end, New Vet didn't like me probing into anything, and they rejected me and my baby. So, the medical director. The woman on the phone I got in the email, she'd already told me she didn't like your tone. Oh my God, didn't like my tone. You work in public service. People are going to get upset. I wrote an email this big. This was short from the medical director. I wrote one this big in return, and I cried myself to sleep that night. But I said exactly what had happened, and I said, what? Because we're in a pandemic, because your employees are working hard, I can't. People like me, we're not allowed, customers aren't allowed to question anything ever again and be upset about anything ever again. That's ludicrous. But she said that. We're not going to be, you're already upset and you haven't even had an appointment. We're not a good fit. I can see you're upset. Yeah. Because if I had accepted it, it wasn't true. Okay? And I had to be pushy to get to the bottom of it. It's impossible, 48 pages. Okay? So I called back old vet and said, can you tell me how many pages? Because I hadn't asked that. And I wound up talking to the manager again, and she said 85, and then I knew it was impossible. Called up New Vet. Now I'm bothering the person on the phone who apparently reported me. Again, out of love for my baby. He's 14 and blind, and I genuinely, obviously, clearly, otherwise I wouldn't have probed, wouldn't have given a fuck, thought it was important. I thought they'd want all the records if they're going to take the time to send them to you. You know, they originally were going to print them all out and mail them in a packet and go to the post. I thought that it mattered. No. Like Joe said, it's just secretive. You would have thought they had all the records. So I pushed the person on the phone. Can you please tell me how many pages in each? Found out that the specialist was 32 pages, and out of 85 pages, they only had 16 pages. And then I was like, how can that happen? I don't understand. Well, we didn't get it, blah, 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 whatever. But then when I sent out the email, which was the final straw with them, I'd already upset their person. But then when they get the email saying, this is the PDF file that my old vet sent out, how can you only have gotten, you either get all or none. You can't get partial from a PDF file. That's impossible. My common sense tells me that somebody messed up somewhere and you just didn't print out the pages. They didn't like that. I thought that it was accidental, but since they rejected me, it had to have been intentional. They didn't want all those pages. They didn't bother, and they only had one vet visit. They had out of 7 years, they had only January of 2020 to October of 2020. They didn't even have his teeth cleaning from December of 2020. They had one vet visit and that's now I believe 100% they did it intentionally, but they didn't want me to know. It's okay if you didn't want them, but you tell me up front. Don't have me killing myself back and forth for fucking nothing. And I'm glad in the long run because look how you behaved. That's so telling. You don't want me because I upset the person on the phone because I needed to get to the bottom of it. I'm the one in the dark here. I'm the one trying to facilitate just something simple. Old records go to New Vet. And it turned into a fucking fiasco. And in the end, I have to find Omar a different vet.